Welcome to the Star Life TV channel. In this video, I will discuss the symbolism, coincidences, and strange details in the case of Charlie Kirk. On September 10, 2025, the death of American political activist Charles James Kirk was reported. He suffered a gunshot wound to the neck during a public speech at Utah Valley University. 33 hours later, the main suspect, 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, was detained. According to the official version, the criminal acted alone, and his actions are explained by a personal grudge against the politician. However, the abundance of systemic codes, strange coincidences, and inconsistencies clearly indicate that the event was pre-planned at the highest level and had very specific goals. Charlie Kirk was born on October 14, 1993, in the suburbs of Chicago. He was the co-founder and executive director of the student organization Turning Point USA and hosted his own radio show. Kirk was known for his support of conservative and Trumpist initiatives, his denial of the scientific consensus on climate change, and his views that diverged from official information during the pandemic. On September 10, 2025, Charlie was speaking at Utah Valley University. The event was part of the politician's organized American Comeback Tour. By holding open discussions at colleges, Kirk sought to support free speech and convey conservative ideas to young people. During his speech at 12:23 p.m. local time, a shot rang out, wounding the politician in the neck. It was later revealed that he died the same day without regaining consciousness. The symbolism begins with the numerical codes accompanying the incident. The date of the event falls on the eve of one of the most tragic days in American history. Furthermore, at the time of the incident, a new day, September 11th, had already begun in some parts of the world. Thus, a clear connection to the disaster code 911 is traced. As for the time of the shot, 12:23, it contains the so-called satanic call code, as dividing 12 by 23 yields approximately 0.666. The suspect in the murder, Tyler Robinson, was detained 33 hours after the incident. This number was also mentioned for a reason. It is included in the list of system codes and signifies the highest degree of Freemasonry. The identity of the shooter deserves special attention. As in most similar cases, it was a young man who allegedly acted alone. Tyler Robinson grew up in a religious family with conservative views. In school, he was a high achiever, and at the University of Utah, he received a scholarship for gifted students. According to his parents, the young man had recently changed his worldview. The reason for this was his affiliation with the LGBT community. The shooter was in a relationship with a trans woman. Relatives reported that Robinson had expressed dislike for Kirk and his views long before committing the crime, particularly due to the activists' criticism of the LGBT movement, inclusivity policies, and tolerance. By a strange twist of fate, most attempts on the lives of political leaders have been committed precisely by lone criminals due to ideological differences. The same applies to terrorist attacks. Their perpetrators carefully devise a plan, find ways to infiltrate guarded facilities, and remain undetected. Most often, the perpetrators die on the spot or are almost immediately apprehended by law enforcement. Despite the objective impossibility of pulling off such a deed alone, the investigation announces the name of a specific person guilty of the act. Most people take this information on faith. It is much easier for them to calm down and believe that the criminal has been found and punished than to consider alternative versions. In reality, everything happens quite differently. This is explained in great detail in the 1998 film Arlington Road. It makes it clear that behind any event of global scale, which includes attempts to eliminate political leaders, there are always a great number of people. Either a deceived, innocent person or a victim of the MK Ultra mind control program is chosen as the scapegoat. The latter is very often used in the preparation of such events. The programmed victim commits acts that a person in a normal state would never decide upon, no matter their convictions. Afterwards, they simply remember nothing. In the case of Tyler Robinson, after his arrest, he was confused and could not coherently explain his actions. Although, at his father's urging, the young man turned himself in to the police, he later refused to admit his guilt. During his first court hearing, the suspect only stated his name and then refused to speak further. All of this could be explained by the effects of the MK-Ultra program. Perhaps the most interesting aspect of the Charlie Kirk case is the fact that his elimination was depicted with extreme precision in the 1998 film, Snake Eyas. The thriller, directed by Brian De Palma, tells the story of a corrupt detective named Rick Santoro. He attends a boxing match to cheer for his favorite athlete. There, he meets his old friend Kevin Dunn, who informs him that he is serving in the security detail for the Secretary of Defense, Charles Kirkland, who is also at the fight. During one of the rounds, an unknown sniper assassinates the secretary. Santoro wants to get to the bottom of what happened. However, during his investigation, he discovers that Kevin Dunn was the one who organized the assassination. The first thing that catches the eye is the similarity between the names of the slain secretary in the film and the activist, Charlie Kirk. Both in the film and in real life, the men were killed at a public event by a shot to the neck. Furthermore, in the first few minutes of the thriller, a promotional poster is shown in the frame, on which the date of the tournament can be seen, September 10th. In real life, Charlie Kirk was also eliminated on September 10th. The film also features the name of the perpetrator who committed the crime. The boxer, whose match the detective attended, was named Lincoln Tyler, nicknamed the Executioner. In reality, Tyler Robinson acted as the executioner for Charlie Kirk. In the finale of the film, the shooter, Kevin Dunn, chose to voluntarily take his own life. In reality, the arrested Tyler Robinson, according to relatives, also intended to eliminate himself, and appeared in court wearing special protective clothing designed to prevent such actions. All these coincidences simply could be random. It turns out that either current events were planned 30 years ago, or they were intentionally tailored to fit the plot of the film. In both cases, the main question is why this was done. According to the plot of the thriller, Snake Eyas, the secretary was eliminated because he was preparing to expose a grand conspiracy in the highest circles. Charles Kirkland was going to publicize data related to the cover-up of fraud in the development of an expensive missile defense system. In real life, activist Charlie Kirk often voiced information that contradicted official sources. At the same time, he moved in the highest circles and knew much about the shadowy side of our world. It is quite possible that Kirk, just like his namesake from the film, Snake Eyas, was preparing to publicize data exposing a conspiracy in the highest circles. In this case, his elimination was a kind of demonstrative execution. Through the connection to the plot of a 30-year-old film, the adepts of the cult were shown what would happen to those who try to go against the system. It is also symbolic that in the film, Snake Eyas, the organizer and executor of the crime turned out to be a person who served in the secretary's own security detail. That is, the assassination was prepared by insiders. Furthermore, in the film's finale, the true masterminds remain in the shadows and go unpunished. The same thing is happening in real life, where a 22-year-old young man has been presented as the main villain. Thus, the murder of Charlie Kirk is not a random act or simply the consequence of a deranged fighter for LGBT rights. Systemic codes, direct references to the film, Snake Eyas, and other coincidences clearly indicate that the politician's liquidation was planned at the highest level. It is quite possible that the activist possessed forbidden information and intended to make it public. He was prevented from doing so, and all other adepts of the cult were shown what would happen to them in case of disobedience to the system. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Please like this video.